Hey friends, happy Sunday. I am back. My voice is mostly back, not entirely, but mostly. So if it cracks or squeaks or does something weird, it's just part of the healing process, I guess. So this week, after having taken 2 weeks, well, I guess 2 weeks totally, but I just took last week off of making a video for you guys. Um, I've had some time to think, and scary as that might sound, I have had a lot of time to think about something that I feel like it's kind of a collective theme right now. I think a lot of us are thinking about this, and I'm not sure exactly why that might be. I think a lot of it is just what we've gone through in the last couple of years. It's been a really interesting ride, and I think it's really made a lot of us think about, what we really want in our lives, and what feels good and what doesn't feel so good anymore, and what's acceptable and what's no longer acceptable. We used to, I don't know, I feel like we kind of got into a place as a society of complacency where we were really just kind of going with the flow, doing the things that we needed to do to get everything done that needed to be done or that we thought needed to be done, in a really, really exceedingly busy, crammed, crowded reality that was just doing all the things for all the people as much as we possibly could, running as fast as we possibly could, achieving as much as we possibly could. And I don't know that we ever really had the time or took the time to stop and think about why we were doing those things, if they were really truly important, or if they were just things that had kind of gotten added to our plates without us even noticing or taking the time to really think about whether or not they were important to us, or whether or not they were really truly something that we wanted to be spending our energy on. And with the pandemic and the lockdowns and things closing and excuse me, us kind of being, stuck in our houses for a couple of years, we came to realize, I think a lot of us, and I'm speaking in generalities, of course, and I'm speaking also from a very privileged position of being in America and in a safe place. But from my privileged position and from a lot of us in America, we are privileged, and we had the opportunity to think about, what was truly important. And we looked around our homes and saw our families as, primary importance, and kind of realized that spending time with the people that we love, and really just doing more of the things that we loved, that we finally had the time and space, I think, as a society, to stop and take a look at our lives. And a lot of the unnecessary stuff was removed. Anything that was necessary was still pretty much right in front of us, unless, there were some people who lost their lives, there were some people who lost jobs, some really important stuff. And of course there's a train coming by for added punctuation. But for those of us who kept most of those really truly important things in our lives, we realized that a lot of the other stuff that went away was extraneous. It was not necessary. And when we got that space cleared out for us, whether we wanted it or not, it kind of gave us the opportunity to think about whether we wanted to bring those things back into our lives once things kind of started returning to normal. And so now that things are kind of starting to return to normal slowly in most places in the world, I think a lot of us are really taking a good hard look at our lives and saying, I don't know that I really ever enjoyed doing X, Y, and Z. I don't think I want to bring that back into my experience. And so I know for me personally, it's become almost like how do I want to say this? It's become a pursuit in authenticity, a pursuit of authenticity. And for me, that comes from a place of never really, truly having lived an authentic life. And it was 4:44 as I said that. That was funny on the timer. And for me, I came from a place, and I think a lot of us come from cultures that, some people are lucky and they come from cultures where being special and unique and different and yourself is really encouraged. But I think for a lot of us, we came from cultures where conformity is encouraged, where if you're different or if you're unique or you're special or you're gay or too smart or creative or artsy or eclectic or goth or have disabilities or whatever, different levels of abilities, let me put it that way, you're seen as being an outsider. You're different, you're odd, you're weird, there's something not right about you, and you're really tamped down and you're almost, people, I don't think it's intentional in a lot of places and a lot of people. It's not necessarily intentional. It's just like a survival mechanism where we rile against anything that's different, and then we're scared of it. We fear change, we fear differences because we think that there's a threat in that to our safety. And so within that outmoded biological response of that flight, fear, flight, what am I trying to say, guys? Fight or flight mode. There we go. Goodness. In that outmoded biological response of flight or fight, we tend to ostracize people that are different. And I'm not making excuses for any kind of abuse or that kind of thing, but I am saying that it's just something that's kind of hardwired into us, or has been in the cultures that we've been existing within. And so when you are ostracized for being different, you're almost beaten into submission, or you're encouraged heavily in a lot of different ways through bullying and gossip and, being outcast or left out. You are encouraged, I'm going to use that nice word, encouraged heavily to conform, to become like other people, to fit in versus standing out. And in that kind of a culture, authenticity is not at all the norm, and it's not encouraged at all. It's discouraged, in fact. And so I'm coming from a culture that valued conformity so much more than it valued authenticity, because conformity was safe, and we understood conformity. We understood how people were supposed to behave, and there was a set of rules for being a part of this society. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I know I'm not alone in that. I know there are a lot of us that actually come from those kinds of backgrounds and cultures. And while I absolutely understand the perceived need for that kind of a culture, I also now understand that that's not the case everywhere, and that's also not a healthy and productive way to move our world forward, right? Like, discouraging people from being themselves so that they can fit in is absolutely not the way to proceed. It's not, how do I want to say this? I don't want to be like preachy, I don't want to sound like I'm like, don't do this. But I do want to sound like we're evolving as a human species. We are evolving, whether we want to admit it or not. And there are still pockets that hold on to the way they've always done things, and there are people who hold on to the way that they've always done things, and organizations who hold on to the way they've always done things because they feel safe in that comfort, in that in their comfort zone, in that place of familiarity, right? And I get that. I totally get that. And I understand the aversion to taking risks and doing things differently and letting people who are different than you into your life experience, because it's going to change things. It's going to really shake things up, right? And I would just be kind of the devil's advocate and challenge and say, why would that be a bad thing? How would that be a bad thing? Would that be a bad thing? And encourage people to think about maybe that's not such a bad thing. So anyway, long story short, I think I say that in every video. Anyway, the whole point of this is to say that authenticity is not something that all of us are encouraged to pursue from birth. A lot of us are actually discouraged from that pursuit. And so for me, now in my over 35 years, we'll just say that, it's time to pursue authenticity wholeheartedly with everything I have in my being. I am in no way saying that the way that my life is unacceptable or bad or undesirable even. My life is beautiful, you guys. I am so privileged. I'm so blessed, and I'm so fortunate, and I'm so grateful. And I recognize everything I have to be grateful for, and I am grateful every single day for little things. We call little things, but they're actually huge things, like clean water to drink, and a clean cup to drink it out of, and a beautiful home to drink it in, and pipes that bring it right to me in this home. And it is mind-boggling to me how blessed I am most days. And I mean, I go through my days where I don't recognize things. Don't get me wrong, but most days I understand how blessed I actually am. And I will say too that even in realizing that, I also recognize that a lot of the ways that my life has unfolded, a lot of the things I've pursued, a lot of the things I have in my experience now were brought forward through an experience of inauthenticity. I was doing the things I thought I needed to do, or I was doing the things I was supposed to do, or I was doing the things I thought would make my family proud, or I was doing what was the next right step as far as the preconceived notions in society about what comes next, right? And and while I am so grateful for what I have and I'm so blessed, I also recognize when I look around at even just the things in my home, a lot of them are not exactly things that light me up and spark joy within my soul, my heart, in the deepest parts of me. You know, they're just, it's just stuff, or the things I'm doing are just things I've been doing for a long time, so I keep doing them because I've devoted a lot of time and energy to them. And I'm scared to let them go, right? Like, it's hard to let things go. But I've had a couple of experiences recently, and I'm debating on, I'm thinking about what I want to say here. I'll just say that I've had a couple of experiences lately, particularly in relationships, like dating relationships, where I've had the opportunity to be with incredible men and to date incredible people, and they're wonderful, you know? And some of them were kind of geared towards that being in their comfort zone space, and that is wonderful and beautiful for them. I'm not judging whatsoever in that. I'm saying that for me, that space, being in a comfort zone at this point in my life and at this point in my pursuit of authenticity, feels stagnant. It feels, and I'm not saying it's stagnant for everybody, but for me personally, I'm just saying it feels stagnant to just pick a place and stick. And there's a good reason for that, and it is because of the fact that I've been, for much of my life, I should say, conforming rather than coming from a place of authenticity. And so now at this place in my life, I am, like I said, pursuing authenticity wholeheartedly in everything I do, everything I buy, every purchase I make. I'm like, do I actually love this? Does this actually like spark joy, light me up? Does this actually feel like something I can't wait to get into my home and use or wear, or, you know, whatever in my home? Or does it feel like something that's just good enough? You know, there's nothing wrong with being good enough. There's nothing wrong with things being good enough. There's nothing wrong with your life being good enough. But for me, personally at this point in my journey, and I don't think I'm alone. I think there are a lot of us that are very happy and content where we are, but we just know that there is an opportunity to, as a beautiful friend, I won't use her exact words because she didn't give me express permission to share this, but a beautiful friend of mine just shared a poem of hers with me that she wrote, and it was so, it was poignant and simple and just so perfect. And the premise of it was, I have no interest in reinventing myself, essentially. I am happy where I am. Maybe I will just put some more icing on the cake. Make what's already good even better. And that is what this whole dream life experiment for me is all about, you guys. It is about coming into my own, embracing my power, and sorry, the song that just came on is it's Miguel, Simple Things. So actually, I don't think that's the right word. The right one. Hold on. I will come back if I'm. It's called Arch and Point. So anyway, and it's funny because I was just thinking about this song the other day, but it's not really appropriate for this video. Okay, so but authentically, I love this song, so go look it up. Anyway, so to come back to my friend's beautiful poem, which has nothing to do with that song, it's really just about making what's already beautiful in my life even better, and to make it feel even better, and to be even more authentic to myself, and to really just dive wholeheartedly, whole selfly. I'm a writer, you guys. I have words. I also make them up often. Into my authenticity and into the things that are truly lighting me up. And the purging aspect is getting rid of those things that no longer feel like me, and it really is that simple. So that's my whole spiel on authenticity and on this whole dream life experiment, and what I'm trying to do with it in my pursuit of authenticity, and how it's not necessarily to say that my life isn't good enough, because my gosh, my life is, it's stunning. It's stunning to me how beautiful my life is, and I'm so grateful for every person and every experience and every place I've seen and every relationship I've had. And at the same time, I know that I can continue to evolve. I can continue to learn new ways to express myself even better. And that is really what it's all about. So if you're on this journey with me, or if you're just watching me do it, that's cool. And I wish you the very best. And I look forward to talking with you again next week. And if you have any comments, or if you'd like to chime in on this topic of authenticity, I would love to hear from you. Drop it down in the comments box below. And otherwise, if you would, I would be so grateful if you'd hit the like and the subscribe, and maybe share this video with somebody who might need a little encouragement on their journey. And I will see you guys next Sunday. All my love. Take care.